In this video, I work with a lot of new salespeople that are trying to get into high ticket sales. They're trying to make 10 to 20K a month. And if they would just do the three things that I'm about to talk about in this video consistently, a lot of them would get there a lot faster. So the first tip, or whatever you want to call it, that works amazingly well when you first get on sales calls, because most of you watching this, you're about to get on sales calls for the first time. You've never done that before. And what you don't realize is how much the way you show up to the call influences your results. So what does that mean? What I see in a lot of people who are starting in sales, and even lots of intermediate or advanced salespeople, is that they come across as very unsure about themselves and what they are selling when they're on these calls. So maybe they've just never done sales before, or maybe they've never done high ticket sales before, so it feels kind of new and they're just feeling uncertain and everything is very new, right? So what they do is they come into this very hesitant, like they're walking on eggshells, which is the opposite of what you should be doing. Something to remember is that as the salesperson, you are in charge here, not them, not the prospect, right? But beginner salespeople act like the prospect is in charge. They like get on the phone and they're like defer the call and they're deferring to them. You need to stop doing that. Stop looking to the prospect for certainty or reassurance. You decide how this is going to go. You decide where we are going. You are in charge here. You need to have this frame of mind. I am in charge. I am the leader here. And on every call, you just want to think like this in your mind. And you need to be 100% sure that the product or the service that you're selling is the absolute shit. I'm serious. I don't care if it's the most boring thing ever. You want to think that way about it. You want to have full conviction in it. And if you're selling a bad product or service that you aren't able to have conviction in because it sucks, then I don't know why you're selling that. You need to go sell something else, because you're not going to make any money selling that. But you need to have total conviction, right? Like that this is the thing. This product or service is going to solve your problem, and you'd be crazy not to buy it. This is exactly what you need. That is how you need to feel, all right? Which, like I said, if your product or service is good, why don't you have that attitude? So you just need to be like, this is the cure to fucking cancer. I know for a fact you're a complete idiot if you don't buy this. Like, you don't say that to them, obviously, but that's how you want to feel. Like, this is the cure to cancer. Like, you don't want to buy this? You're insane. So on every call, you should just have that mindset going in, because the people that you're talking to can feel that energy. They can feel the smallest amount of energy from you. So they can feel everything coming off of you, even though it's through a screen. And if you have conviction in what you're selling, people are 100 times more likely to buy it. And you can bring that confidence out of you on command. So you're probably watching this and thinking like, well, I'm not very confident. I've never done this before, You can flip this like as a switch. It just takes a few reps. It just takes a little practice. So you just need to try it and get on some calls and start trying it, and you'll see it's a lot easier than you think. So even if you aren't totally comfortable with the calls yet, or you don't have experience taking hundreds or thousands of sales calls, which most of you won't be, this is something you can do just with your attitude and demeanor on your first call that will help you close way more sales and help you going forward. So just think before you get on every call, I am the guy or I am the girl, and what I have is amazing and I know it's going to help them. Just this one simple sentence that you say to yourself right before every call makes a huge difference in your vibe or your confidence or whatever, and that's going to translate to more money. And this works too, because when someone gets on a sales call, they have no idea what's going to happen. They're just like, oh, I'm going to show up at this time, and they have no fucking clue what's going to happen, all right? Even if they want to buy the product, they are still unsure of whether they're going to buy it or not. They have a ton of uncertainty. That is the punchline. So they're just looking to you to see how this is going to go. And that's why I said you need to realize that you are in charge here. Because if you are hesitant and unsure, they're definitely going to bail. They're going to be like, well, this fucking guy, the salesperson, wasn't confident in it, so I'm definitely not buying that shit, right? Like, you need to think through these things. But if you are convicted and certain in what you are doing and what you are saying, they're just going to follow that lead. That is just what people do. So if you're a beginner or you're new to this, how you show up to the calls makes a huge difference. This is not woo-woo dumb shit. This will make a huge difference in the amount of money that you make. Now the next tip, or whatever you want to call it, is for the job search. And again, to be clear, this is not a hard and fast rule, but for a lot of beginners, I would start selling for a B2C business over a B2B business. So that means you're selling to regular people. You're not selling to businesses. Why do I suggest this? Because doing so, in my opinion, is going to get you really good at sales a lot faster, and this is why. When you are selling B2B, you are selling business to business products and services. So an example of that could be you are a salesperson for a YouTube advertising agency and you are trying to get other online businesses to buy YouTube ads from your agency. Buy this service, we will run all of your YouTube ads and make your business way more money, help you scale your business. When you are selling a service like this to businesses, the sale is generally going to be very straightforward. The point of this call is to sell them something that's going to make them more money. That is basically the summary of all B2B sales. Businesses want to make more money, and pretty much any product or service they buy from a salesperson, that is going to be the point of it, to make more money. But when you sell to consumers, to like regular people, to the masses, many times you are selling them something that is going to solve some kind of issue or problem in their personal life. And that could be anything, right? And the most popular product of all right now is a coaching program. And when you are selling people coaching programs, because it could be a coaching program on anything, you have to get this person to open up about personal things that are going on in their life. And when you're trying to sell them coaching programs on like relationships or their health or their finances or things like this, you're going to have to actually get to know them a little bit and get them to be comfortable with you enough to open up to you at least a little bit about these things. And guess what? Doing that, your people skills are going to get good very fast. And that is what you need if you want to make major fucking money in sales. And in B2B, business to business, that person doesn't really have to open up to you, right? Emotionally as much, because it's more about the business. It's just about money. But sales is all about people. It always will be. And if you skip this step, like you don't get good with people, you don't learn how to get good at getting them to open up to you emotionally about why they really got on this call, like what are the deep, dark reasons that they went and scheduled this call, then you're not going to ever get really good at sales, okay? But if you can get good at those things, you'll get good very fast. And since you're a beginner, this is only going to build a rock solid foundation for you. That is why I recommend it, because you're going to be so glad that you did this later. But again, this is just my opinion. And also, B2C sales tends to be a little easier because when you're selling to a business owner, he's much more serious about the call. He's not fucking around, okay? They're going to come to the sales call prepared. They're probably going to be shopping you against a bunch of other people, price shopping you, and there's more on the line for them because a lot of times they're going to have to give you that the other business access to their business. And that's always going to be a bigger deal than a regular person just like spending $5,000 for a coaching program. Now, caveats to this, I'm not saying that B2B sales is hard. That's not what I'm saying at all. These are just the factors that you're going to deal with in B2B that you're not going to deal with in B2C. And many times in B2B, a business owner is just going to want to buy that service because they like the person behind it. They like their personal brand, so it can honestly go both ways. What you will find in sales, and especially with the internet stuff, is people can be just as difficult no matter what you're selling, especially these days. But it's just important to consider these things. And I think overall, you can start with anyone that you want, but I like you guys to have this information so you can make your own informed decision. Like, would that be good for me or would that not be good for me? That is the reason I'm telling you this. I don't give a fuck which one you start with. You can get just as good, make just as much money starting at B2C or B2B. But you personally can take this information and decide, all right, which one would be better for me? Would that be a good path for me or would this be a good path? That's what you need to do. You need to learn how to think for yourself, how to take information from people who are more successful than you and then apply it to you. Not take it as dogma and be like, oh, well, this internet guy said do this, so I'm just going to do that. Learn to think for yourself. That's how you're going to become the most successful. But you can start in either one, throw yourself in, and if you work hard, you will be fine, no matter what. No matter which one you choose to start in, as long as you go hard. Last tip, number 3, and some encouragement. Whatever high ticket sales role that you do start in, whether that's B2B, B2C, or as a setter or a closer, you need to go at it all in. Now, this may sound obvious, but most people don't do this. Most people I see do not do this. They think things like this. Well, I'm just going to dip my toe in. I'm just going to try it out, or I'll just try this and see how it goes. And then when they half-ass it, because they have that attitude, they make no money, and then they give up and quit. That's how this always goes. Well, I'm going to dip my toe in, so they don't really try, then they don't make any money, then they get discouraged, they give up and quit. This is a vast majority of the people that dip their toe into high-ticket sales. So you need to just decide, this is what I'm doing. There's no other options, all right? I'm going to be all in with this. I'm not going to be doing this over here on the side. I'm not going to keep this as a backup plan. I'm going to burn the fucking boats. That is how you're going to succeed and make a lot of money and be one of those people who's actually making lots of money doing this. And you should accept for the first few months, not only am I going to go as hard as I can, but I'm going to lower my expectations, right? In the first month, 2, maybe 3 months, it all depends. I may have to work really hard and I may have to learn a lot of new things and I may have to really earn my way to that 10K a month. Shocking, but if you can do that, that is going to translate to you making way more money just a short period of time down the road. Sounds pretty good to me. So what could that look like? You could take some extra calls right when you start. You could take your off time to study the product or service, the sales framework, and just make this role the only thing that you do for the first few months. Like cut everything else out, all of it, and just obsessively do this. And that is going to pay off 10 times over later. I don't want to hear your excuses. Well, I can't cut this out. Just do it. Make it work. If you really want it, you will find a way. So just take it seriously. That's all you have to do because most people are not taking this seriously. And I'm not just talking about high ticket sales. Most people don't take their life seriously. They make tiny daily little things super serious. Like, oh, they have to get ahead of this one person in traffic, right? Like they're super fucking serious about that, but then they do nothing to improve their life or their finances or make more money or put their life in a better position. They do nothing for those things. It's fucking insane how people operate. Like that one spot in traffic is not important, bro. Your life is in the shitter. You're fucking poor. But hey, you beat that guy to the stoplight. Dumbass. And just remember that there are many people just like you. I don't care who you are. If you're a guy, girl, old, young, whatever you think about yourself, there are many people just like you who are doing this successfully and making a lot of money consistently. All right? This, at the end of the day, this is just sales. And if you saw some of the people that were doing this and making those insane numbers, 10K, 20K a month and beyond, it would break your reality and you would realize, wow, there's this entire universe over here that I wasn't even aware of, where all these people are making all this money, and I wasn't aware of it because I live inside my little bubble of my small circle and what I look at on my phone every day, and I never branch out from there. And then you would see these idiots and think, well, if that idiot can do it, I can definitely do it. Whether or not you succeed at this all depends on whether you decide that you can't do it or you decide, I can do this. You have to decide that you can do it. No one else can do that for you. That's the end of the video. If you want my help getting a closer role or a setter role, go to the links in the description. Until next time.